Hello friends, happy June! It is so good to see all of y'all. I'm excited about today. I just have a lot of energy. I'm feeling good. It's been super beautiful and sunny outside, and I have spent a ton of time working out in my gardens, and it inspired me and gave me some really fun ideas for some outdoor art, because y'all, I think it is just as important to make our outdoor spaces as beautiful as our indoor spaces. So today we are going to be working on a super cool design that I can hardly wait to share with y'all. This is going to be a lighted outdoor art installation of sorts, and it's really, really cool. So we're gonna head out into the wood shop because we're actually gonna be hanging out with Michael today. I designed this piece and Michael is gonna do all the build for me because, you know, we just make a good team that way. I do the designing and he sometimes takes my designs and just makes them happen and brings them to life. So y'all, without further ado, let's head out into the wood shop and see what Michael is up to. With every project that Michael and I embark up on, there's always this process that we go through where we discuss the design and discuss measurements and sizes and how big or how small we want this piece to be. And we always take into consideration the area where we want it to hang. So this piece was no different. We talked it all through, came up with all of our measurements, and Michael set to work marking everything out. So this piece is going to have a little bit of geometric shape to it. So the first thing that Michael did was came in and marked all of our borders so that we could have a starting point to start designing all of the shapes. So that is what he's doing here, is just marking out the borders. This is going to be a two-part, well, it's actually going to have three pieces. This whole design has three pieces to it, and this is the middle piece, I guess we can call that. So again, he's just marking out all of the measurements, creating a border for us, and making sure that everything is really precise. And that is one of the things I just love about Michael, is he is very much a perfectionist when it comes to woodworking. So he definitely takes the time to make sure that everything is absolutely perfect. So now we have all of the borders marked out, and now it's time to start creating some shapes. I want to have a lot of curves and a lot of just fluid motion going through this top piece. So we're just using a very technical tool here to mark out our curves. Yep, that technical tool is a paint can. So that's what we're doing here, is just marking out all of our places where we want the curves. Michael starts out by, using the borders and those guidelines to know how deep we want the curve and how sharp we want the curve. Now for this next step, we're going to be creating a really big curve on this one. So again, we mark the board from the bottom to where we want the curve to start, and then Michael came in with his beam compass and drew out a kind of like a half circle here, and then we're going to do a little bit more work on that. But first things first, let's just get this half circle drawn out. We now have all of our shapes drawn onto the board, so now it's time to cut everything out. And we're using our jigsaw to do this. You could use a bandsaw. However, Michael was feeling like he had a little bit more control with the jigsaw. Plus, I think this tool is amazing. If you are in the market for getting started on woodworking and you're in the market for some good tools, this is a great place to start. You can never go wrong by having a jigsaw in your arsenal because it is so versatile and you can do so many things with the jigsaw. So one of the things that we are doing here is, you can see that Michael is not cutting precisely on the lines that we drew out, and that is because we're going to use the sander to refine this shape and grind down to our line so that we get precise shape and we don't have any wave or buckling in our final piece. We now have our entire top piece cut out, and I'm so excited, y'all. This is looking so good at this point. I bet y'all are super curious where we're going with this. So stay with us and watch all the way through, because this really is a neat piece. I think y'all are going to really love the end result. Okay, so now what we need to do is prepare this for sanding. So we have this whole thing cut out, and I love this. I'm loving all the shape, all the curve, all the roundness to it. So remember, we didn't cut this precisely on the line with the jigsaw, and we did that for a reason, because now we can come in with the sander and fine tune that and refine it and grind down any of that excess wood straight to the line so that we get a really clean, smooth cut. After all that sanding was done, and there was a lot of it, we're now going to come in and create a groove all around the inside of this. This is going to be the underneath side. And the reason we're doing this is because we're going to add some cool lighting to this. So we need to have a groove so that our lighting has a place to rest. So Michael is just using the router to do this. Very simple, very straightforward. I will have this router listed in the supply list for y'all, because this is a really cool router and it's fairly inexpensive. Now that we have the entire track routed out on the back of our wood, the track that we just made for the cording, it's time to make a place for our battery pack to sit. And because I want this battery pack to sit flush with this piece, Michael just traced the battery pack on, drilled some pilot holes in this, and then he's just going to come in with the jigsaw and cut this out. A little tip, little trick here: when you're using a jigsaw to cut small pieces like this with lots of rounded edges, it's really hard to, get that jigsaw to rotate around those corners precisely. So a little trick here is, when you get to those corners, just cut a whole bunch of teeny little lines like you can see that Michael did here, and then take your jigsaw and kind of run it across those lines, and it kind of chisels them out, and then you can come in and refine it with your sander. Okay, so now we have the track cut out for our lighting strip. We're using an LED lighting strip, but we need something to hold that lighting strip into place. So our genius solution to that was to just come in and add some staples all the way around to this. We left the staples slightly elevated up off of the piece so that we can just use this as a guide to basically string our little LED light tube through, and the staples will hold this into place. So that is what we're doing now. We've got the staples in, and now we're just going to go ahead and string our lights through all of those staples. Now that we have strung all of our lights through, we're just going to come in and give these staples just a little tappy tap to kind of push them down a little bit into the wood so that they're flush, because this piece is actually going to be attached to a bigger piece in the back that's going to become kind of like the background or the canvas for this piece. So again, we want it to sit flush. Here's the piece right here. This is going to be our backing piece. So that's why we tapped all those staples in, so that we could have a flush surface. So we're going to go ahead, string our battery pack through this. And remember that little hole that we cut out? That's where the battery pack is going to rest. So we got the battery pack in place. And now we're going to go ahead and attach that really cool front piece to this just solid square back piece. So we're just doing some pre-drilling here, and then we're attaching everything with screws. I did not glue this piece because in the event that I ever need to change our LED strips, it'll be super easy to just take out those screws and simply change out the LED strip. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and get our battery pack attached securely to this, and we are using some alien tape. Y'all, if you have never tried alien tape, this stuff is incredible. It will hold anything and everything, and it will never come apart. This stuff is really cool, so I'll have it listed in the description box. It is a double-sided tape, and it is very strong, very, very strong. When I say it's very strong, I mean it is very strong. Okay, so double-sided tape here, alien tape, and now we're just going to slide our little battery pack in, and that should not go anywhere. Just remember when you put your battery pack in to leave the opening upwards so that you can easily change the batteries if you need to. So now we're going to go ahead and just finish assembling this and getting the entire back piece attached to the front piece. To hang this art installation on my deck on one of the privacy walls. So we need a way to hang it, and the best way I feel is by using D-rings. These D-rings are rated, I believe, for 30 pounds a piece, so 2 of them should be plenty to hold this thing up, and it should be plenty strong enough. So we just came in and we're just simply going to attach these D-rings to the back with some screws. Make sure you pre-drill your holes though, so you don't run the risk of splitting any of your wood. Once we get the D-rings into place, we're going to go ahead and start working on the last and final piece for this entire ensemble. So I want to be able to have a vessel hanging on this to like put some greenery stems or whatnot in it, some flowers or whatever. And again, I want to stay true to that. We've got a lot of curves going on. We've got a lot of round going on. So I want to stay true to that. So Michael used his compass to draw a partial circle here, and then we're just coming in with our angle marker here, or angle ruler, whatever you call this, angle guide. I'm not sure what this is called. It's an angle ruler of some sort, and we're just going to draw some straight lines coming up off of that circle so that I get this nice big U shape. Then Michael took it over to the table saw to cut it down to a easily handled, cut it down to an appropriate size so it makes it easy to handle, and then he's just going to cut that big giant U shape out on the scroll saw. Oh, good grief. Now we need to cut a small rectangle, because this is going to act as a ledge that's going to sit on top of that U shape that Michael just cut out. So we're creating this ledge, so he's just cutting this out with the table saw so we get nice beautiful straight lines, and then we're going to take it over and attach it to the top of our little U thing just like so. However, I need to drill a hole in this so that I have a place for my vessel to hang, because I kind of want it to look like it's floating there. So Michael came in with this gigantic drill thingy. Wow, I cannot think of what tools are called right now. Anyway, he put this big gigantic drill thingy on here to drill me a great big giant hole, and now we're just going to go ahead and attach this ledge to the bottom part of our U shape. So to do this, we're just going to use some wood glue and some brad nails. now it's time to paint. I don't always enjoy painting pieces like this, but this was actually kind of fun, and I was so excited about this, and I was so excited to see it all to come together that it was kind of fun doing the painting. So for our vase holder, I am just simply painting this piece black, and then on the main piece here, the main art piece, this is kind of the star of the show. I did not want to add any color to this. I wanted to leave it in that beautiful natural poplar wood, so I just came in with some Rubio Monocoat in the color clear to just give this a really good sealing. Once all of that was done and the paint was dry and the sealer was dry, it's time to do our final assembly. So Michael just is coming in here. We're going to attach this to the main art piece by using some glue, some finish nails, and some screws. So the first thing we did was make sure that this piece was perfectly, precisely lined up and centered where we wanted it to be. And then we did add some glue to the back of this, added a couple of finish nails to the top just so this thing would not move at all, because we need to flip it over and attach it on the back with some screws so that this is very securely held into place. Okay, friends, so what are y'all thinking so far? Are you thinking Michael and I are just crazy and weird, or are you thinking that piece is looking pretty cool and I can't wait to see it styled? So I'm not gonna make y'all wait anymore. You're either gonna love this or you're gonna hate this, but I'm really hoping that y'all are gonna love it. Let's head outside and take a look at this piece all finished and styled on the deck. Okay, are y'all ready to head out? I'm a little nervous for this reveal because it's definitely different. It's a unique piece, but I'm really hoping y'all are gonna love it as much as I do. Let's head on out now. Okay, we really are gonna head out now. So what do y'all think? I absolutely love it. I am thrilled with how well this turned out. I just think it is so cool, and it really looks cool at nighttime when it is all lit up. I know the pictures that I showed y'all at nighttime weren't that great because my camera doesn't like to take pictures at night. However, in real life, this thing is pretty darn cool when it's all lit up. And it looks really cool in the daytime too. So I am really curious what y'all thought. Alrighty, friends. Well, that is going to wrap up this project. I hope y'all enjoyed this because I really did. I loved spending my afternoon out in the wood shop with Michael, and I really love the end result of all of his hard work. I know we are going to really enjoy this piece throughout the coming summer months. And like I said, I think it's just as important to make our outdoor spaces just as pretty as our indoor spaces, especially if you're like us and spend a ton of time outside. We really do. I spend a ton of time in my gardens, and we just spend a lot of time outside on our deck and down below at our dining space. We eat outside a lot because we grill a lot in the summer. So I'm going to enjoy this. I know we're going to have a lot of fun with it. And hopefully this piece gave y'all a little bit of inspiration for something that you can do to spruce up your outdoor spaces. Alrighty, friends. Well, that is it. Thank you all so much for being here with me today, for hanging out with us, and for going through this journey of creating this really cool outdoor art piece. I look forward to seeing you again in the next one. Until then, y'all take care, and I will see you soon. Bye, friends.